Does Iran acknowledge the fact that they have provided this support, or do they sit back and go, we don't know?
It's kind of come and gone over the years. There's been a lot of I don't know. Yeah. There has been a lot of I don't know, and they there's no shyness in the sense that the Houthis are very much part of the axis of resistance and have been for some years now. But there's always a kind of element of deniability in the sense that the Houthis, these are their own weapons. We're not sending them this, that, and the other. But at the same time, they wouldn't deny that they are allies and partners in that respect. And I think it's always a mistake to call the Houthis a proxy of Iran. They're not. And they have changed a lot because of Iranian influence, even in their religious sort of beliefs and teachings. I mean, they're now recognizing sort of elements of the Shiaism that is prevalent in Iran, 12 Shiaism, more than they are even with Zaydi Shiaism. So they've kind of skewed some of their religious elements because of Iranian influence. But, there's certainly a strong indications that Iran did not want them to take the capital, Sana'a, back in 2014. And that they did not want them to start attacking vessels in the Red Sea. And the Houthis did it anyway. And so the Houthis are, their own people at the end of the day, and they will do what they want in that respect. But they're able to do it now because of Iranian support.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me talk about Firecracker Farm and their hot salt. You probably heard other people talk about it as well. If you haven't tried it yet, let me just tell you, you're missing out on some serious flavor. Their hot salt is delicious, and it really makes pretty much anything that you put it on even more delicious. It's hot, but when you use it in moderation, it's not too hot, and the flavor that it adds enhances without overpowering. It is handmade, super premium, and comes in awesome stainless steel push-button grinders like the one I have in my hand right here. You can take them anywhere. Hot sauce, if you've had this experience, can very easily overpower other flavors and always runs out quickly when it's good. Hot salt lasts and lasts. The push grinder holds over 500 plus pumps, and when you consider the refill it comes with, it's thousands of servings, and it's a great deal and a lot cheaper than the sauce. For those of you that like flavor but hesitate because it might be too hot, you can mix it with sea salt to tone it down and still enjoy the awesome flavor. In my personal experience, you can modulate how much comes out of the dispenser. You're in total control of the amount of heat you serve yourself. So if you would like to support our show and give Alex and his family business a shot, head over to firecracker.farm and use the code IRONCLAD to get a 15% discount on your first order. You will be very glad that you did. Firecracker.farm.
How are the, you mentioned the missile strikes, and the U.S. and the United States, whether they're working independently or, joining forces on targeting, is it having an impact? Is it deterring the attacks, or is it actually feeding into the Houthis' narrative of what they're trying to do, what the Houthis' actions are based upon are legitimate?
I think you have to understand with the Houthis, I think just from a Western perspective, we just don't get this and we can't get our heads around it. But the Houthis want war and they need war to survive. The greatest threat to them is peacetime and governance and having to govern in peacetime. For various reasons. I mean, they have a belief system of where they prioritize both positions and money to people who can trace their lineage to the Prophet Muhammad, which the Houthi family can. And so there's the kind of, almost a building of something like the British aristocracy sort of system, or class system anyway. And that means that, during peacetime, that becomes an issue, plus corruption becomes an issue. So back in September 2023, just before the Hamas attack in Israel, the Houthis were facing their first street protests and unrest against them because they've been at peace effectively pretty much since March 2022 when the Saudis stopped bombing them. So ideologically, their greatest enemies have always been Israel and the US. So it's gift to them to now be battling the US and Israel. This is what they wanted, and it means that they can blame the US and Israel for all the ills that people are facing, whether that be fuel shortages, electricity shortages, food prices, all of those kind of things.